steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. For my life is wholly bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine, I can sing all is mine, yet not I, but through Christ in me. The night is dark, but I am not forsaken. For by my side, the Savior, He will stay. I linger on in weakness and rejoicing, for in my need His power is displayed. To this I hold, my Savior will defend me. Through the deepest valley He will lead. Oh, the night has been won, and I shall overcome, yet not I, but through Christ in me. Though fate I dread, I know I am forgiven. The future sure, the price He has been paid. For Jesus bled and suffered for my pardon, and He was raised to overthrow the grave. To this I hold, my sin has been defeated. Jesus now and ever is my lead. All the chains are released, I can see I am free, and not I, but through Christ in me. With every breath, I long to follow Jesus, for He has said that He will bring me home. And day by day, I know He will be near, until I stand with joy before Him. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. All the glory ever belongs to Him. And the praise is complete, till my lips shall repeat, and not I, but through Christ in me. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. All the glory ever belongs to Him, and the praise is complete, till my lips shall repeat, yet not I, but through Christ in me. And the praise is complete, till my lips shall repeat, yet not I, but through Christ in me. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. Maybe see.
Good morning. We're glad you're here today. We got a nice cool breeze blowing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. The Lord Lord has blessed us with some beautiful weather so far. Thank y'all for coming today. We're still hearing of more and more folks within our church family as well as outside that's getting this crazy virus. Dave Johnson's got another family member of his who's sick that he didn't want to come today because he didn't want to expose anyone. So let's continue to pray for those we know that are dealing with hardships, but we're glad you're here. The offering boxes are in the little tubs on either side of the front up here. As you get ready to leave, you can place your offering there or any other information. Got any of those you want to leave with us? Let's pray for that right now. Lord, we thank you so much for this day you've given us. We thank you for the beauty of it. We thank you, Lord, for watching over us, even in the midst of a lot of turmoil and craziness. Lord, you're a gracious God. You're a good God. Lord, I just thank you for the gifts that have been given, the offerings, that you continue to bless the giver and bless the gift, that it might be used for your glory and your kingdom. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Jesus be glorified. Jesus
So, those of you who were here last week, if you weren't here last week, don't panic. I'm not saying you didn't miss that much, but the first half of the message. But the truth is, every section of the Word of God is freestanding, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background, okay? But we're going to pick up today with the second half of chapter 14, 1 Corinthians 14. We'll pick up with verse 26 here in just a minute. I'll read it. But just want to go back over real quick what we really were saying, and they can summarize it in just a few statements, really. Forgot about that. My mask off. I'm Rodney. I'll be your pastor. All right. The second section of 1 Corinthians 14 is about worship. Bottom line, it's about worship. First section was too, but this section especially hones in on, and it gives us some great principles that we need to keep in mind in worship. Somebody asked a good question after the message last week. He said, I've been reading this and I see this stuff, but why did he go to all the trouble to put that in there? And I said, I think we got to look at what we're going to focus on this week especially, and that is to look at, like we always try to say, not just the individual interpretation of each verse, that's important, but the underlying principles that guide over all times and all cultures and all places, and the things that stand. Not that the other things don't. Every word in the Word of God is important, but in the context, we look at what it really says to us about our worship, okay? And about orderliness in worship, and about thinking about others in worship, and thinking about their needs, and thinking about how I can have a part in that when we gather together. How important it is, so those kind of things. Last week, what we basically were focusing on was the superiority of prophecy. Now, remember too, I'm going to give you a definition in a second, a simplified definition of the New Testament view of prophecy as well as I can. But prophecy over, the superiority of prophecy over speaking in tongues. Again, Paul was not saying don't speak in tongues. He was saying he did. But he's saying be careful how you use that, and be careful about how you use any of your gifts in the body of Christ. And that's an important lesson for us. There's a lot here, so let's get to it, okay? I don't want to have to break it up into a third section, a triple layer sandwich, right? My father-in-law said, Rodney, you got my curiosity up now. He was being kind. He said, I'm going to have to go online and get the rest of this next week. I said, Bill, all you got was the bread and the mayonnaise of that sandwich. You didn't get any meat or cheese, buddy. So hopefully you'll have at least a half of the sandwich today, okay? Let's pray. Thank you, Father, for your word. I thank you that every bite of it, every time we come to it, Lord, it is the bread of life, and it gives us exactly what we need, Lord, for life. So help us to never assume otherwise, that none of it's unimportant. We just know that this passage is important. Help me to communicate as you, to be willing to let you use me, Lord, that your message would flow from your heart, through my heart, to every heart here. Only you can do that, Lord, in spite of me, over and around and above, and in conjunction with me, and in the hearts of your people, God. And we do believe that if you show intention for people to get a message today, Lord, you can do it in spite of a language barrier, as you've done before with this very gift. So I just ask you today to communicate, and you know the problem's not in your communication, Lord, when it doesn't work, but it's in our receiving and acting. So we ask you to help us do that. In Jesus' name, amen. So, we'll get to the prophecy thing in just a second, okay, down toward the end, but just hang on to that. If you're thinking, oh, that's like fortune telling, right? No, it's not that at all. So, hang on. The whole thing is about ecstatic gifts, and we're going to talk about, some people refer to the gift of tongues as ecstatic gifts. That's going to kind of get carried away, doesn't it? I saw Marion and Brenda doing a little dance a while ago, and I thought, oh my, they've gotten ecstatic in worship this morning, and then I believe I figured out it was just a fire ant, right? Something like that. Fire ants can be really close to the convicting power of the Holy Spirit, right? You start confessing stuff you didn't know you did when the Holy Ghost told you to, right? Seriously, it's different. But Mike Costner, who's Sojourner Church, that comes from that. He says, worship focus and that we're the audience. No, God's the audience. You get it? You're participants. You're worshipers. You're on the stage, right? You say, well, then why don't you let us talk more? Well, maybe we ought to. You know, we talk about it at times. And then there has to be, as Paul talks about today, how you do that because we are responsible. So, number one of the audience, our triune God. He's both the object of our worship and one of its audiences. But the scriptures also tell us to pay attention to two other audiences. The gathered church. That's what you are this morning. The gathered church, the gathered body of Christ. That word means ecclesia. It means the eclectic group, the called out ones for a special purpose. That's you, called out from the common, ordinary part of this community to be the community of God today. I hope you feel special. I really wish you got goosebumps from more than just a cool breeze, because that is incredibly powerful, that you are the called out people of God. And it might make you cringe a little bit and say, oh, I don't know if I want that. You got it. You want a relationship with Jesus Christ? You got that as a bonus, okay? It comes along with it. And it's powerful because we are representing God, the body of Christ in the world. That's incredible. So also we have to think about when we worship, the other people around me, the gathered body of Christ, are part of that audience in a way. And I said the word audience, but you're also participating in it. The audience participates, right? So that's Colossians 3:16, Hebrews 10, 23 and 24 point to that. But also, friends, the watching world. The people who may be sitting on their porches or in their neighborhood this morning, the people, your neighbors who said, oh, they left earlier this morning. And they come back and say, they seem a little different. The watching world. And also the people who come in here who are not yet a member part of our body. Seekers, maybe some seekers who are skeptic, and some seekers who are eager to know the truth, you know? So we got to always be thinking about those audiences when we worship. So Paul has given us guidelines for worship. Let's read it together. Beginning with verse 26. What then, brothers? When you come together, each one has a hymn, a lesson, a revelation, a tongue, or an interpretation. Let all things be done for building up. Some of your translations have edification. That's what it means, okay? We're going to talk about that too. But some of you say, if any speak in a tongue, let there be only 2 or 3, at most 3, and in each in turn. Let someone interpret. But if there is no one to interpret, let each one of them keep silent in church and speak to himself and to God. Let 2 or 3 prophets speak, and let the others weigh what is said. If a revelation is made to another sitting there, let the first be silent. For you can all prophesy one by one, so that all may learn and all may be encouraged. And the spirits of prophets are subject to the prophets. That's important. The spirits of the prophets, these gifts, are subject to the prophets. The prophets need to be in control of, in a sense, their gift. It's not okay to say, well, the Spirit just moved on me and I had no control. That might be good, it might not be good, okay? Let's don't blame it on God. 33, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. As in all the churches of the saints, now hold on, catch your breath, women, all right? Take your breath. We're going to talk about this in just a second. Probably isn't what you think it is. As in all the churches of the saints, the women should keep silent in the churches, for they are not permitted to speak, but should be in submission, as the law also says. If there is anything they desire to learn, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is shameful for a woman to speak in church. Hang on. Don't run. Or was it from you that the word of God came? In other words, did you originate the word of God? Did you write this? Or are you the only ones it has reached? If anyone thinks that he's a prophet or spiritual, they should acknowledge that the things I'm writing to you are a command of the Lord. If anyone does not recognize this, he's not recognized. So my brothers, earnestly desire to prophesy, and do not forbid speaking in tongues. But all things should be done decently and in order. The last verse is probably the theme of the whole thing. Because you're representing God. talking today really this whole thing about practical guidelines for orderly worship. First of all, I just want to point to something in talking about, we're going to look at this under the idea of guidelines for worship. Let's talk about, for one thing, a couple of points here about what worship is. Number one, the necessity of worship. That the church gathers, the necessity of worship in the gathered body. Now, worship is really, the word means worth, W-O-R-T-H, worthship. The worthship, letting God know, telling God how worthy. Not that he doesn't know, I need the experience, the practice of telling him, because it sets things straight in my mind. I believe that's important in my quiet time, to start with the time of praise. God, I just want to stop and acknowledge that you already know everything I'm going to say. You know all things, God. You are all-knowing. That you are the creator of this universe. You made me, not me myself. I confess right now and thank you that praise you that you are sovereign over all things. You are God. You made this world. I like to do my quiet time on my porch because I keep being reminded of how God's ordering those things. Even the birds fighting at my bird feeder the other day. I thought, oh, how sweet. See, God, you got it all in control. Look how they're eating, and you take care and feed them. About that time, they broke into the worst fight you've ever seen in your life. I thought, yeah, they might like us. Yeah. And God still takes care of them. None of them killed each other, not right then, you know. And so, God, that you are God, and you are good, and all you do is good. And I have to remind myself of those things. That's what worship is, the worship of God. But look at that. One word I want to give you, first of all, intentionality. Intentionality in worship. Look at verse 26. That very first phrase. When you come together. Period. For now. Underline. When you come together. Not if, but when you come together. Did they have churches? Nope. Not church buildings. Read Acts chapter 2. And they said, gathered in each other's homes and shared these things together. Now, I'm poking something that's kind of hard here, right? But friends, let me just say, worship is not by accident, is what I'm saying. When you come together, know you're going to do it, plan to do it, be ready to do it, do it like this. But do it. It is important for people of God to get together. Some of you are probably ready to throw stuff at me, right? Yeah, we'd love to if you'd let us. Hang on. Worship is not something that happens by accident. It is intentional in nature. We are instructed not to neglect the assembling of ourselves together. Hebrews 4:25, right? It doesn't say it's going to be easy. It doesn't say when it's convenient. It doesn't say when the temperature is below a certain temp. You say, yeah, you're sitting in the shade, big boy. You're right. We can flip it around 1 week, maybe. All right? But before we get too high and mighty about how we deserve to meet a certain way, in a certain time, in a certain place, and have the temperature a certain degree and all that stuff, you need to talk to some people who've done it in other countries, okay? Maybe you're one of those people. You need to talk to Clay and Catherine. You need to talk to Stan and Mary. You need to talk to people who've been on mission trips and some other places. Talk to some people who got their gatherings of the church in communist China in the last century, back in the 1900s. What today? Make some pen pals with Christian believers in other countries. You know? Look at some other parts of this nation. You know, I'm not trying to beat you up. I realize I'm singing to the choir. You made the effort this morning. You got up on Sunday morning. You got up earlier. You got here. You're sitting outside. You're fighting fire ants and heat and all those things. I wore my shirt just to make you feel better about being in a tropical situation. Okay? Make you feel better? I don't think so. But John Huffman, another pastor about this, said, individualism, friends, that's what we see this up in America. It's about me, my rights, my ability, my. I decide what's right for me. You can't tell me. You don't censor me. You don't tell me. Individualism in spiritual matters is a dead end. Growth comes by being in relationship with brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. I used to say it's hard to live a Christian life apart from my faith and apart from getting together with other believers. Now I say it's impossible. I used to try to back down from it to say, Well, it's not about going to church, and it's not. That's not the crux of it. It's the A in learning how to read in pre-kindergarten, learning what the letter A looks like. Why is it not harped on much in the New Testament? It is, actually, in the underlying principles. But why? Not that much said about you need to go to church every week. One thing, we're thinking about going to church. You need to be church everywhere you go. We get together on a regular basis, whether it's 2 gathered or 3 gathered or 50 gathered, 2,000 gathered together. You know, friends, I understand the struggle of doing this for Pastor kids. I get it. I'm not trying to say, hey, it's been harder on us, but it's not been easy on us as leaders, I promise you. I hate Zoom. But you know what? It felt pretty good that first week we got together and I could at least see you. As hard as my hearing is when I can't see your face, and as weird as I get about just little things not being the way I like them, and that's bad. I know it is, but it's just, that's the way I'm wired, and I have to watch it. I had to go out and roll in the dirt after about 20 minutes on that thing. Just jumping, man, like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But you know, honest to goodness, it felt really good when I could see your faces and say, we're going to watch. We're all watching this at the same time. You know, even if you didn't, at least we got to do that. And now that we can do this, yeah, it's not ideal. But it's ideal. You know? I get to see the faces of my brothers and sisters, and that alone is encouraging. And when some of you say, right, I'm praying for you, I say to you, man, it's so good to see you. I had you on my mind this week. That makes all the difference in the world. That might be your reason to get up one more day, 2 more days, another week, whatever. You know, to remember somebody's thinking about me. These people are on the same battle I'm in. We're on the same team. People's reactions, right? You know, we can get so myopic so quickly. That means nearsighted, blind. Blind as a bat, basically, what it means. We get tunnel vision so quickly and begin to think, well, I'm just not going to do so. And you do belong to Christ, right? And you do belong to the body of Christ, right? And you do plan on being together in heaven. Oh, it'll be perfect in heaven. Yeah. I'm not there yet. It doesn't say if and when you can gather for worship the way you want it, or when you want it, or where you want it, or when it's convenient. It says when you gather. Online, if that's the best you can do, safely. Because we also got some common sense stuff in here that he tells us to practice and do it decently and in order, and not try to kill people. Okay. Friends, it was not accidental that the church, the body of Christ, is established. It came together intentionally as a part of God's plan and purpose, His sovereign will there in Acts. That's pretty clear with the miraculous thing that was poured out in Acts chapter 2 and Pentecost that led to these gifts. You and I are privileged to come together with our knowledge of God, our sense of connection, and with others in a way that carries on strategic corporate service for Jesus Christ. In our coming together, we are privileged to bear one another's burdens, as well as to pool our resources in carrying out this mission of Jesus Christ. That's another reason to do it. Even if, I need to remember what team I'm on. I need people to know what team I'm on. You know, like the little lady who she had lost her sight. She had pretty much lost her hearing, and it was almost impossible for her to get around. Elderly lady, godly saint. But she was there every week, sitting on the front row, smiling. And several people, I think maybe the pastor in the story, asked her, just said, Miss Mary, it hurts to see you making this effort, and the truth is you can't see what's going on. You can't hear what's going on. It's so hard for you. Don't feel like you got to do this. You're not going to go to hell if you come to church every week. She said, oh, honey, I'm not worried about going to hell, but I do want them to know what side I'm on. When the fight breaks out, I want them to know what side I'm on. Based on that and the activity of some Christians, you'd think they must be secret agents. Oh, well, I'm incognito among the scattered people of, whatever. That's enough. The purpose of worship, number 2, edification. Look at the second half, the last half of verse 26. Let all things be for building up. Friends, that's the purpose of worship, to build up the body, so that it can glorify God, so that we can give him glory in this world, so that we do represent him in this world, so that we do take the gospel to the far ends of the earth, beginning with my street, your street, my neighbors, your neighbors, my friends and family, neighbors, you know. Edification, everything for the good of the body. The third thing is the goal of worship. Look at verses 23 to 30, 25. Did I read the passage? I did, didn't I? Okay, thank you. I won't read it again. Verses 23 to 25, goal of worship. It is the realization of the presence of God in our midst. Look at what it says. So that they will know that God is really among you. The last part of verse 25. So that they will know and won't have to wonder, is God really among you? Verse 25 was in last week's passage. I know I'm pointing back to something. That's what was getting me. Like, where did I read that? That was in last week's passage. At the very end of it. But I think it's relevant, very important to see that in what we're doing here. The goal of worship all through this thing, and that ties it together, is that the world, believers and non-believers, realize that God is among you. And he's saying, if you're running off doing all this stuff and your worship service is like a three-ring circus with all the animals turned loose, and an unbeliever comes in your midst, well, how are they going to see God in all that? Especially if they can't understand what's going on. You've got to think about others, and you've got to think about what is your goal in worship. To realize that's not easy, is it? And yet again, it should be, in a sense. Clay does a great job of leading us out into worship. He's a worship leader even more than he's a good musician and song leader. It takes so much more. We've always talked about that. And Clay always understood it and helped me understand it. That leading in worship, helping people in the realization of the experience of the presence of God in our midst. He's always in our midst. But we always realize it. That's not just about a feeling, friends, or a certain feeling. Yes, it involves emotion, but emotion's not a clear. The difference in our life, the transformation that's taking place in our lives and in this purpose is what we see happening day to day, right? Matthew 18:20 reminds us, for where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, Jesus said, there am I among them. So he's here. We need to realize and experience his presence. And so that's what you come with a bucket for. You've heard me say before, I'm not excusing myself from my part in this, nor is Clay. But you can only do so much with the bucket you brought. You bring a bucket with a lid on it because of your attitude, you might not get much in it. You come with a big old bucket saying, boy, I need a blessing from God. I need to be a blessing today. You bring a little something good in your bucket, you're probably going to leave with a whole lot more in your bucket. You know, it's just a way it works in worship. And if you come saying, boy, I got all these needs, you better meet my needs today, man. And here's what I'm looking for. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be a happy customer. Nah, sorry. God's in charge of this thing. He knows exactly what you need. It blows my mind sometimes when people say, you know what, I took from what you said. I really needed to hear that. And I go, farthest thing from my mind. Didn't know that's what I was saying. You know what happened between here and there? God did what God does. He became God. He was God in that situation. And that's what I was praying for, to come from your heart, through my heart, and affect my heart as it comes through it, as it's been doing these last weeks. And then that it make a change and connect to your heart. It's heart stuff. So the goal of worship, that's why all the other things Paul says in this passage are important. So then the discipline of worship. The discipline of worship. We got to move here. He's saying in verses 26 to 33, get a hold of yourself. Be control of yourself. Paul is, as Tim Keller says, he's extremely non-prosaic. It's not using the phrase, but I just want to say it. Anyway, non-prosaic. He said, he's not trying to be just being blunt. He said, if you've got something to say and 2 or 3 people have already spoken, sit down on your hands and be quiet. Put your hand on your mouth. Don't assume you've got priority over other people or over these guidelines. I'm telling you, you need order in your worship. Don't think just because you feel like God laid something on my heart, and I know you're not saying that, saying, sometimes you do need to say something. You need to let us know. always, not everything everybody thinks they need to say and tell everybody is always what needs to be said, including me. And our prayer is, God, don't let me get up there and say what I want to say. Please, stop me. Help me say everything you want me to say, but not say what just I want to get out, you know? He's saying have order. There must be consideration of those present and their spiritual condition. The first principle that these Corinthians and we need to consider is that we use our spiritual gifts, and everything needed to be done in the strengthening of the body. The second thing is to ensure that they knew what he meant by giving this instruction. Paul got specific. He said about tongues, because that was their measurement. That speaking in tongues was their measurement of spirituality. They had taken this thing to extremes and said, if you're not speaking in tongues, it's just not quite there. I've had that put on me. Some of you might have. Why would you not want to, brother? Don't you want all God's got for you? Yeah. I think I got all the Holy Spirit I need. The question is, does the Holy Spirit have all of me he wants? You know? And I don't have to show it like you. And you don't have to show it like me. But we better show it like God intends us to. You know? So when using tongues, here's some things Paul says. I'm going to run through them because this is something we do on a regular basis. But the principles about all the ways we participate in worship. First, he sets a limit on how many people should speak in tongues in one worship service. 2 or 3, verse 27. Second, Paul ensures that every person speaks in turn instead of all at once, verse 27. I've seen that one broken. Have you? Third, he instructs that interpretation and evaluation from others is vital. He said, let the spirits decide. Let the spirit in you determine and discern. Okay? And especially those leaders who've been given that guidance and direction. Okay? Notice that he said down at the bottom, though, about these instructions I give you, you don't need to discern. I'm telling you, it's the Word of God. That was apostolic authority is what that was. I don't have that. That died out when they died out. But he's got the apostolic authority. Scripture's being happening as they get it. You know, we're not adding the Scripture anymore. All right? So we need to be careful when we say, God's told me something that's exactly opposite of what I see in the Bible. No. Hush. He didn't. He might have told you something different from our interpretation. We didn't tell you something opposite of what the Bible says. He ensures that every person ought to speak to him. He instructs that the interpretation and evaluation is vital, especially with tongues that had to be interpreted. That's a separate gift, an attendant gift, 27 and 29. And lastly, if there was no interpreter, they were to keep quiet, verse 28. If you couldn't interpret your own gift, or if there was an interpreter present, then use it in your prayer language. He said, man, do it what you got. But it doesn't need to be in corporate worship unless it's intelligible to the body and brings meaning to the body. He said it's like thinking you play a drum, picking it up and just going, that's not music. It's cacophony, right? Music has a score, line, order, rhythm. I don't really understand how to read music, but some people do, and I'm glad. Okay, so lastly, if there was an interpreter, be quiet. He gave several rules about prophecy. Okay, 2 or 3 to speak in a service, verse 29. He said there's a limit to this. You could go on and on, but everybody saying, well, I got another word, and she sees his word. My word's more important than his word. I got a longer word. So you never get anything accomplished in worship. You never. Worship is primarily about instructions, what's Paul saying. Prophecy is important, but you can go overboard with that too. And everybody thinking, we all got a word. You know, I was supposed to. Paul said, man, if there's an unbeliever among you, can you imagine how confused he thinks he lives? There's a reason why I'm up here. And it's not just because I got an ego. I have to fight that. I scratch my head sometimes and say, why me, God? I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most eloquent. Why me? It might be just for me. It might be the only thing I can do, and I couldn't sit still very long. You know, I'd have to be up here moving around a little bit, even be in church. I think sometimes it might be the only reason. You know? No, he's giving me responsibility for that. So, verse 29, since prophecy is speaking in merely human words, what God has spontaneously brought to mind must be tested away. Verse 30 and 31, one at a time, and his prophets as well. So as these gifts were used, they were acknowledged that the gifts were under the control of those whom God gifted, because God is not a God of disorder but peace. In other words, be in control of the body that God gave you the gift in. It's not enough to say, well, I couldn't help myself. The Spirit led me. Man, you can get away with a bunch of stuff. And it's been done plenty of times. It's saying it's going to be done in decent and order because God is not a God of disorder. So if you lose control of yourself, God might not be a part of it. So don't think that sounds really spiritual. Read that right there. I'm not saying that you don't have the Holy Spirit move in and above your faculties. Yes. But we need to watch it. They're called ecstatic gifts. You know why? They come from the word. That word comes from the word ecstasy. You know what ecstasy means, right? Heightened feeling and emotion to the point of being uncontrollable. You know why they named that drug MDMA? Some of you know. Don't raise your hands. That drug MDMA called ecstasy. You know why? People lose their inhibitions. Loosey-goosey. Stuff I used to wouldn't think about doing, I don't have a problem with doing. So that's what all drugs do. That's why people take them. You know? Didn't have an effect, but they lose control. You can read, there is no safe amount of that drug to be used recreationally, is what some doctors will tell you. Because it's different with everybody. And yes, people die doing it. I'm not giving you a thing on MDMA right here. You might need to know it. But the word ecstasy, ecstatic, is an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joyful excitement, an emotional mood or religious frenzy or trance-like state. Originally, one involved a mystic self-transcendence, outside or above myself. That's scary, you know, when it comes to religious stuff. So, the ultimate reason for these instructions for the Corinthian church is to reflect God himself, the God who is not a God of confusion but of peace, verse 33 says. It is the body of Christ that we're talking about here. And we need to think about that as we exercise in our gifts. The dynamic of worship. Hang on. That's in my ear, not yours, thankfully. All right, about women. Friends, this isn't going to take but a second. About women, be careful that you don't read that one verse and take it out of context and say, that's just saying that women need to be quiet in church, they can never say anything. Paul's already said the opposite. Go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. He said, let women be sure when they speak in church that they have certain decorum. And don't do it over and above like to insult your husband. You know? The amazing thing was that Christianity, Paul, Jesus, went incredible lengths to bring women up in their status in that society. It was just women were property, and that was it, treated like cattle, and sometimes not as well made. And Paul and Jesus are saying, no, women. Paul goes, look at all of his letters, especially at the end and throughout, where he says, pray for, or thank God for. And he lists all these women. We did that at the end of Romans chapter 16, right? Look at how many women Paul listed in there. He's going to do the same thing here. Aquila, for one. Priscilla. They both sound like big names to me. But Priscilla, he said, man, you know, I just couldn't do this without them. Lydia, all these people. Mary, you know. He said, we know that's not what he's saying. What is he saying? Don't misunderstand. He's not talking about concerning women in the church. Taking it face value, it means women can never speak. And that's not what he's saying. But obviously, this isn't the case here because of what he's already said and what you see throughout the New Testament. But then what is he saying? Because women were finding this unprecedented freedom, as usual, the pendulum doesn't always stop in the middle, right? As a matter of fact, it's in the middle very little time compared to both ends as a swinger. And so he's saying, look, yes, you've gotten freedom in the involvement in the spirit and in the church, and yes, you do have a place in this ministry. Friends, in every society, there is a certain level of decorum and what means what is acceptable. And yes, God does give the man responsibility in the home, not because he's always willing to take it, right? And so you men need to sit up and say, am I putting my wife in a position, possibly have to blur that line in order to get her spiritual food because I'm not taking the lead in this thing. And women need to be careful to say, my husband won't do it, so I just bowled over him. I'm just going to do it in spite of him and over the top of him. Be careful. I'm not saying you don't ever need to just step out and do it yourself, but we also need to be careful about how we do it. He's saying, be careful, women. Because as J.W. Gorman said, every culture has a code that defines what is acceptable and scandalous in public conduct. And again, remember, your community is watching you. One does not advance the gospel by outraging the sense of societal decency and decorum. Again, you don't need me to explain that problem. Look at it, think about it. The focus on prophecy then, friends, is foretelling. More than foretelling. I went through last week, you can go back and listen to that one or get the notes from that prophecy is different in the New Testament because now we all have the Holy Spirit. And just like all the gifts, you say, well, what about, it says the gift of faith. All Christians are supposed to have faith, but some have an extra measure of faith that makes it easier for them to lead the body in believing something that's God-sized. I could name some people among you, among us, that do that and do it so well. And I'm thankful for it. But we all have to have faith, right? Now, and the same with these other gifts, the same with giving. Aren't all Christians supposed to give? Yet some have the ability to give over and above, to give in a way that just blows your mind. And they get such a joy from it. They live to give. And God uses them as his distribution partners and circulatory system to distribute the things the body needs. Yes, that's important. And just like with prophecy, now all Christians can get a word from God. We don't have to have a priest, what I tell you. And First Peter, really throughout, especially chapters 1 and 2, and maybe 4, he talks about the priesthood that everyone is a priest. We're a kingdom of priests, royal priests, we belong to the king. And so, it's like I used that illustration last week. If you didn't get it, here's another chance. About the use of gunpowder or blasting powder to either make fireworks to make people ooh and ah, or to make a blasting for construction to build something that lasts and it gets you somewhere that makes a difference, not just a ooh and an ah. The Corinthians were focusing on fireworks. Paul's saying, think about it, you've got a responsibility for what you do with this, and yeah, you can use it for fireworks and get people to ooh and ah at you, or you can think about where it is to take the church of God, the body of Christ, on a mission into the accomplishment of this world. So, and lastly, he says, don't blow this out. Because this comes from the Lord. Look at verse 37b. It comes from the Lord, a command of the Lord. Paul said, this is important. Worship is what we do first and foremost. Our first purpose is to glorify God, the chief aim of man. Yes, we evangelize to glorify God. Yes, we meet needs of people to glorify God. Everything we do is underlined by that, and this worship is that. Here's the conclusion. Here are the list of things you might want to see as takeaways. Be in a life group. If you can participate this week through Zoom, in a yard, whatever. Try to go and look at it again if you need to. Here it is. First, the gathering together of the body of Christ is absolutely vital, crucial, necessary for our lives as believers and for the life of the body of Christ. It means something to belong. Secondly, God's giving of spiritual gifts is proof that the church, and specifically the church's worship of God, is not about me. And every one of us have to say that. It's not about me. You say, we're done? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Be sure I get what I'm supposed to get. You know how you do that? By not focusing on you. You come to bless somebody else and to say, I want to lift up everybody I see in worship today. I'm not saying fake it, but sometimes, yeah, you fake it till you make it. I can act myself into feeling differently. I've done it. But I'm a person who's run my life on feelings and made up a mess of it. Anyway, you want to feel different, act different. Bless you as you bless me. Yes, then I get blessed. never be what God intended. I don't use that word never or ever very often. I try to be careful about that. I said never with an N. Because I believe this. Your relationship with God will never be what God intended. If you're only focused on what you think you need and want about getting your needs met. That's why God did it. You know these things, that's why I'm telling you again. You know these things, that's why I'm telling you again. Preach the gospel to each other. It will become more of a burden, friends, when you go about it that way. More of a burden than a boost. That's why a lot of those people don't hear this morning. It's just not worth the effort. I don't get enough out of it. Analyze this statement. In line with what we just said. If you apply what Jesus think about it. You don't know till you do it, till you serve. Build up others, the body, upon yourself. And I close with this verse, Ephesians 2:10. You know, we know that thing about you're saved by grace through faith and only, not by your works. But look at, do you memorize verse 10 as well? For we are God's handiwork. You know what that word means? God's special project. You are God's handiwork. His special creative project. Individually, specifically shaped is what I believe it means. You are God, the work of God's hands, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Not to feel good feelings, not to say good words, to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Amen. God bless. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Put that on my tab, and I'll give them back to you at the funeral.
Yeah, I know.